if there's anything that made it stand out was the realization that this woman went through this and we have not heard about her. She's kind of like forgotten in society. Like, you have to really dig deep to find this. And it was an opportunity to honor her through this character. So yeah, I would say like that was the reason for doing it as well. Like the opportunity to honor her.
Yeah. And I think that's something that stand with the characters you've chosen so far in your career, that you honor them and you honor that their significance to the impact they have on society, whether fictional or real. There's an impact to the characters that you choose. Welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Akua Gyamfi of the British Blacklist. Now, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the brilliant, amazing Letitia Wright. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's good to see your face. So let's just get into this really powerful film, Surrounded. What was your initial reason for like saying yes to this film?
With all projects, I always try to find something that's completely left field. It's like, you won't expect me to be in it. You won't expect that I'm like in a Western, in this type of situation. And I just was attracted to the story. I was attracted to who Mo Washington was as a woman, like the opportunity to kind of like, yeah, be a chameleon as well. It's like she totally will require me to transform and change. Not only my physicality, but also like, yeah, the ways in which I approach my craft. So those were some of the key points in why I accepted the role and why I wanted to challenge myself.
And it came out of nowhere because I don't think there's not much noise around it. I don't know how your machine is controlled, but there was nothing. And next minute I see a trailer and you're playing this character.
Yeah, I think, in the grapevine, they're trying to work things out. And I have like so many films coming out back to back. So this was actually the first film I had done in the list of all the films that's come out so far. So
Really?
this is actually taking last position but it was actually the first film to be shot in the series of films I had done over the years. But yeah, it's just getting it out there, letting the people know that it's there.
And you did an amazing job there. How did the job find you? Were you first considered for the role, or was it something that you auditioned for?
Yeah, it was a consideration. It was an offer. I reviewed it, felt like it would be a cool challenge. And yeah, September 2020 just accepted and felt like is a good starting block for me to actually get into that rhythm of like leadership in a project, because then I went on to lead Silent Twins alongside Tamara, then Aisha, and then Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So it was a beautiful way to start that journey for me.
And then when you get a consideration, so you know that, okay, this is it, I like it, I'm going to do it. What is there? Is there a testing period with like, so you get to feel the character? Because I can imagine there's a yes and like they want you, but then maybe going into it, you might, I don't know if this has ever happened, that you might realize that actually this is not for me. So is there that kind of testing area before you go into it and actually, let's get on?
Yeah, for sure. You get to like go through the script with the director. We got to do that. And then we were on the journey of finding, our character, co-lead in Jamie Bell. And once we secured that with him, then we secured Michael K. It's a quick phone call, like, bro. I think Anthony was like, bro, we need you. He's like, cool, I'm there. So we found that out. And it's like, yeah, just working through the character with the director, with the cinematographer, with all the team members, really. And yeah, the thing that held me the most was how inspiring Mo Washington was, and how her story is inspired by Cathay Williams, who's a real Black woman who existed in that time and was a Buffalo Soldier. So that's a history that we don't really know of, and I found it interesting to explore it. Yeah, so yeah, that's what held it.
Yeah, and in that, because Buffalo Soldier, obviously, you immediately think of this Bob Marley song, and then that's it. And I even myself, I felt like I've done myself a disservice where I hear the song, I know it's got some historical, political thing to it, but I've never really looked into it properly. And in seeing that Mo's a Buffalo Soldier, I was like, oh my gosh. So with that, what did you know of Buffalo Soldiers? And then how did you build on the research for shaping Mo's character?
Very little, like you, just that beautiful Bob Marley song.
Mm.
But this project, when it came about, it took me into that research period where I found out so much. And then obviously discovering about Cathay Williams, which was again a mind blow to me that a Black woman was doing this at that time, in hiding away in a men's army to survive. Like, it was just mind blowing to me. So yeah, it took me on like a deep dive into the history of Black people and what we meant to the war back then. But also the cowgirl and cowboy kind of like culture, and how Black people are all over that, you know what I mean? And in our mainstream media, we hardly see ourselves represented even back then in this kind of like culture that's been like romanticized in a way, and we're really like a part of it. So it was a lot of research that I did.
And yeah, and were there any kind of revelations that kind of stuck out that helped you shape Mo? And I suppose it's that you want, because it's significant. It's a Western. She's a cowboy. She's a soldier or cowgirl. But there's a way of defining this character that's true to the story, but also marking it off that this person existed in some way, and we need to make her historically accurate. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm making my point clear, but just, were there anything that stuck out that helped you bring that out?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I feel you. It's her story mainly. Like, yeah, if there's anything that made it stand out, was the realization that this woman went through this and we have not heard about her. She's kind of like forgotten in society. Like, you have to really dig deep to find this. And it was an opportunity to honor her through this character. So yeah, I would say like that was the reason for doing it as well. Like, the opportunity to honor her.
Yeah. And I think that's something that stand with the characters you've chosen so far in your career, that you honor them, and you honor that their significance to the impact they have on society, whether fictional or real. There's an impact to the characters that you choose. So where does Mo fit in that family of characters that you're creating between Shuri and Aisha? Where does she fit?
Man, she fits. She's so great. I think she fits a little bit like, if we have like Aisha, she fits between Aisha and Black Panther.
Okay.
Just in terms of just like how she carries herself, how she believes that there's something at the other end for her, that she has to overcome things that are bigger than herself. But like you said, the choices that I try to make is a testament to also stuff that I feel inside that I want other women to feel as well, especially Black women too, to feel empowered and proud and see the multi-layers and different ways in which we exist. I try to do that in my work. So yeah, she's there. She's up there.
She's out there. And it's very surreal to consider that Mo is a Black woman masquerading as a young man for her own protection at a time when being Black could get you killed and being a woman could get you assaulted and killed. And then, so doing a story where you're transported back to a time when things are supposed to be different, were there any moments that you had you shaking your head like, you know what, things aren't that much different in today's like?
Yeah, I've been discussing that with other interviewers. Like, yeah, it's pretty much, it's there's improvements, slight improvements, but there's a lot more to go, especially like the way that like Black women are seen in different spaces, and just a lack of respect, really. You know, like, just a lack of respect is like, so being on set and experiencing what Mo Washington has gone through, and just realizing that, you know, fast forward to this time when I take off this costume and I go down the road, you know, it's just something that really needs to be worked on, and I feel like, you know, I'm seeing ways in which like there's shifts, right? especially in media, right? If we have Woman King, we have Wakanda Forever, even the first Black Panther, where women were they're not behind the king, they're right side by side to him. And we have Little Mermaid, right? Like Black women, there's a shift that's happening for us where we're being seen through like the lens of respect that is very needed and necessary. And I feel like this is a contribution to that, where it's just like, look, like you could say the stuff that you've been saying to me, but I'm not gonna live with that. I'm not gonna accept that. I'm not gonna carry that into my future. But but it's a testament that for us to even be saying that, wow, that's different. Wow, that's me. Oh my God, I'm Little Mermaid. Oh my God, I'm a warrior king. I'm a woman king. Oh my God. It means that we've taken too long to champion Black women, but we are, and I hope that it continues.
Absolutely. And so what were some of your conversations with Anthony, the director, on how to deliver the story, like his vision, your contribution to the vision, and, you know, rounding out and then delivering the story?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the journey, it was just trying to find a story that wasn't polished. It wasn't like a polished Western story. It was more so like just trying to find like rugged characters that were just imperfect, but like perfect at the same time. Like they just were just polar opposites of each other, and like getting them into a world that would cause them to test out, you know, their abilities of survival, really. And he had a very specific way of wanting to work with a cinematographer to capture these scenes. And then for me, my job, which I respected that he trusted me to go off and do, which was formulate this character, which was, you know, make me believe that you are who this character is written on the paper to be. And just being able to be trusted in that sense was good. And then joining forces with Jamie and Michael K, them also getting behind me and reassuring me, you know, that they were on my side as much as I was on their side. Just brought it all together.
And then in that, how did you prepare? Bring Mo to life? Was there music, poetry, art, or how do you separate preparing for this character from other characters? Do you have a process that changes?
Yeah, I think back then it was more about like getting into the world of and the era that she existed in. So like educating myself about what was happening for the world at that time, what was happening for America at that time, and what was happening in that state that she existed in at that time, and what was happening for her as a Black woman at that time. And I just like did all the research that I needed to do, stayed really close to the script. You know, we had like a soundtrack and stuff, music that we would play. Jamie had his own little soundtrack going on. I can hear him in the trailer bumping his stuff, getting into it. And yeah, just staying committed. But for me, like once I found the story of Cathay Williams, which is so, you know, similar to what we were doing for Mo, because Cathay Williams is the inspiration for Mo. It just became, I wouldn't say easy, but it became like a safe space to explore that character even more. So I didn't have to make it up. It was already an example of this woman right in front of me. I just had to keep studying the book and reading and like try to take things from the book and the research that I did about her into this character. Yeah.
Thank you. And working with Jamie Bell, you mentioned, I mind blown. I was like, I know this guy, Billy Elliot. I couldn't. He's super grown up, but it's almost not, but quite almost a buddy film. You know, if you want to categorize things, there's that buddy element. You think of the Defiant Ones, Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis. How did you guys lean on each other, especially through the challenging back and forth that your characters had?
Pretty easy, really. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's nice when I have the privilege of working with so many nice people, especially actors. He's a nice guy. So, and he's a dedicated person to his craft. So it was easy to just lean on each other, and be there for each other. It was easy.
So if someone's nice and then you've got angry bits and violent bits, I know it's acting, but as a non-actor, is it ever difficult when you like, obviously, because you definitely put yourself into the character. So in those breakout moments when it's like cut, pause, reset, whatever, how do you manage that? Is that difficult, especially when someone's nice?
Professionalism.
Yeah, yeah,
Making movies.
yeah.
Making movies.
I know.
So it's like, be nice, And so, and I've experienced people not be nice outside of character. It's like, hey, do you want to run lines? No. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Wow.
And then, life. But fortunately, just being on set and understanding what it is. We're just making a movie and we're making a story that we all love. And when it's cut, you take a break and you just be nice. And that fortunately is what I experienced with Jamie and Jeffrey and everybody really, Michael K, everyone. Yeah.
I mean, that's good to know because it seems silly for me to ask, but then it is that because it's just be nice. And that's a real.
It's not silly. You know what? It is difficult because it's like some projects is like the depth of the relationship is like really close. Like Silent Twins is just like me and Tamara's like at each other's like necks, like yo, because we're like really sisters. Do you know what I mean? And then we have to like figure it out. So there's some projects where it's like you're so close to this person that you like they become like your everything, and like you have to try and figure out a way to just vibe and just not like just be upset with each other. But there was also so much love there as well. So I didn't have to be Jamie's twin. That's how I didn't have to be his twin.
That makes it easier. And then obviously you worked with the late great Michael K. Williams. I mean, and his character puts yours in a position of who to trust, questioning loyalty, which is a thing, especially in that time for Black people. Like, can we trust each other when we need to trust each other? Similar to today, but that was more, I guess stakes were higher back then. How did you two broach your scenes together? And was there anything pertinent that you learned from working with him?
Oh man, it was obviously like his craftsmanship, the way he does what he does, and like, his dedication was like really like evident, he's in this scene and it's beautiful. But I think the main thing was like when it came to casting it, I remember like they were considering for it to be another person, like another white man. And I was like, ain't no way this girl's gonna trust any white man coming out the bush being like, come here, like let me go and help you do whatever. She's like, she's gonna have to trust someone that looks like her and that connects with her. And I feel like he fit into that so perfectly, of like that fatherly figure, like that big brother that was just like, you came out of nowhere to help me. And obviously in it's called the Wild West for a reason.
Yeah.
So, it's the Wild West for a reason. But just that moment of her going like, wow, like there's someone actually here for me that looks like me, was interesting dynamic to play with it, considering all that she'd gone through with everybody else. But yeah, working with him was great. We had great laughter, great joys on set. He's always making me laugh before a take, and yeah, just dedicated, absolutely dedicated. And in the midst of the cold, still trying to keep me warm and, be a gentleman. Yeah, he was great.
Okay, well, I've got to wrap it up. I just wanted to quickly ask you, just if I can capture all of that. Yeah. Would you do another Western? And can you give me a memorable moment that you'll keep as a fond memory of working on Surrounded?
Yes, I would absolutely do another Western, but I think if it's added with like some sci-fi elements,
yeah,
like Westworld type of situation, that could be cool. And fond memories on Surrounded, a lot, so many. But definitely that day with myself, Michael and Jamie Bell, just chopping it up as actors and just supporting each other in that scene. It was a great moment of seeing what a decision to put three people together would look like. Three people that really cared about each other and wanted to do good work. So yeah, I'm really grateful for those moments.
On behalf of the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, I want to thank you, Letitia, for sharing your experiences, process, and craft of your fellow performers. And for everybody watching, Surrounded will be available on digital everywhere, June 20th, 2023. I've been Akua Gyamfi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akua.